I've made over $50 million through email marketing and Klaviyo specifically for e-commerce brands. And I've also made over 50 million mistakes through the 5 years that it took me to get here. And so this is a list of the lessons I wish I knew starting out that will have helped me generate a ton more revenue and just have a better time scaling these brands. I'm Matthias Matt Pirelli, founder of Email Engineers, and these are the lessons I've learned from consistently taking email revenue to 45 to 56% of total revenue, and according to Klaviyo, generating the highest converting emails in e-commerce. Starting with lesson 1, implement trust acceleration inflows. And by this, I simply mean going to your Klaviyo account. You will have your waiting times. Your first email most likely going out between the first 2-4 hours. I recommend you bring that down to 30 to 60 minutes. And then your second email should go between the next 30 to 60 minutes. So in the first 1 to 2 hours, you're going to send 2 emails. But the takeaway is this: when someone makes it to your welcome flow, your cart abandonment flow, they are actively searching elsewhere, other competitors probably, for the same product that you sell or a similar alternative to what you sell. And so they're getting bombarded with ads, emails from similar brands as yours. And we want to be the ones that win the sale. And so the lesson is simple: win the sale by winning the trust faster than any other brand. Lesson number 2 is apply the rule of 1. And this is something I learned from the OGs advertisers like David Ogilvy. The principle is super simple. Make sure that your emails are focusing on one product, one pain point, or one benefit, one takeaway, one emotion only. Else you're going to dilute the message and none of them is going to stick. So if you're selling a supplement that helps sleep better, have less headaches and less bloating even, each angle is going to resonate with different subsets of customers. But you cannot say this product does all of them in a single email. It's not going to be believable for the brain. So just focus on one per email. That is the rule of 1, applies to campaigns, also to flows. Lesson number 3, and this goes against the email marketing best practices, which is why I had to A/B test this myself on plenty of different Klaviyo accounts to prove this was actually true. And this is use fewer call to actions rather than a lot. So the typical advice is to fill your designed emails with a call to action on the top and then like 2 or 3 in between the emails, to use as many buttons as possible to increase click rate. I have demonstrated that the opposite approach works better. Use fewer call to actions, give people enough room to process the message, the email that you are sending is going to work way better for your sales. Clicks will go down, yes, but sales overall will go up. Speaking of call to actions, we have lesson number 4, and that is to use clear and specific call to actions. So for any shop now button, there are probably 10 other better alternatives you could use. So if you're selling product X, a simpler alternative is shop X, so shop the product name, right? That will work way better than just shop now. You can also try benefit-oriented call to actions. So for example, stop migraine. We've seen this works better with youngish demographics like 60 and below. For 60 and above, don't try to be clever, be more clear. Next, we have lesson 5, and this is something you can do starting with your next email campaign. And this is to use an emotional sentiment. Now, for each of the clients that we work with, we develop a list of emotional sentiments. So these are not only how the market feels, their pain points and their desires and hopes, but synthesized to one single sentence that makes it super easy to appeal to in campaigns. So for a client that sells do-it-yourself tools for seniors, an emotional sentiment example that we use is, I'm ready to retire, but I'm not ready to sit on a rocking chair all day. If you embed that into your campaigns, you will have a better response because it has been demonstrated that buying decisions are made using emotions and then justified using logic. So start with emotions first. Next lesson, if you are doing any A/B test at all, which we do and we recommend, test shots, not whispers. So for example, in the same 7 days in which you can decide to choose whether to send a flow email at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m., you can also be testing 2 whole different emails against each other. Now that's most likely going to give you a higher meaningful difference in conversion rates than just sending times. Differences in sending times can maybe boost sales by, 5%, 10%. But testing whole emails against each other, different emotional sentiments, for example, against each other, can make as much of a 2, 3, 5 times sales difference. It's that huge. Next, we have lesson 7. This is to keep a consistent sending frequency. Commit to sending 2 to 3 emails per week every single week. This is going to help your brand be top of mind, so whenever they need to buy, they will buy from you. Lesson number 8, and this comes from another takeaway from legendary advertiser David Ogilvy. He said, unless your advertising contains a big idea, it will pass like a ship in the night. And so we make sure that every single campaign that we sell has a big idea. We went a step above and call it an entertaining big idea, because no one was ever bored into making a purchase. So if you entertain them with emails that look like this, that are not the same typical emails they expect to receive, they're going to look forward to your next emails. So in this email, for example, this is for a brand that sells lighting supplies. And so one of their unique selling propositions is that they have over 80,000 SKUs. We could simply say we have over 80,000 SKUs. But if we just keep repeating that over and over, it gets old really fast. So an example, enough lights to light up the moon. So essentially we're conveying the same idea, but in a more entertaining and memorable way. Big ideas help make your sales message, your emails, but also your ads more memorable. Next, we have lesson 9, and this is something I wish I would have focused more on when I was getting started in email marketing. This is the post-purchase sequence, and specifically to use POA, post-purchase sequences. And by this I mean emails that build belief, obsession, and attachment. So in e-commerce, most of the profits come after the first sale. It is not enough to just get complacent with the first sale and assume they're going to come back later and buy from us. Make sure they have a solid, best possible ever, red carpet first purchase experience. Next, we have lesson 10. So after you build that belief, obsession, and attachment, it's time to ask for a sale. But not just with any offer, but ideally with the sexy offer, something they truly cannot find elsewhere. And this applies most importantly for supplement brands that have plenty of SKUs that customers can try. If they just bought one of your flagship products, say it's creatine, right? You want to introduce them to electrolytes. You could either force the sale to happen with a lot of education to get them to try the product, or you can just, for example, bundle 2 tabs of creatine with 1 free tab of electrolytes. The point here is to avoid the generic 10% offers we use in welcome flows, cart abandonment flows, and literally send offers they cannot find elsewhere. Next, we have lesson 11, and this is to apply the law of specificity. This is to simply avoid vague claims or jargon like supercharge your health or whole body health support. That when you think about it, literally means nothing. It's just noise in customers' minds. It really doesn't move the sale forward at all. Lesson 12, and this is if you're in Shopify, you can use this to double your conversion rates in campaigns. And this is to start embedding your discount codes in the links that you put in your campaigns. So if you're in Shopify, there's a way for you to take someone to your website, and when they click the link, the discount code is going to get automatically applied at checkout. So now here's how to do it. It's really easy. I created this website in which you simply paste the discount code that you want to use, and you place the link you want to point people to, and this generates the link for you. Next, lesson 13, and this is a way to subconsciously influence your customers into spending more money with you. So use this one with care. Whenever you're featuring photo shoots, product shoots of, say, let's say you're selling supplements for simplicity. You have just 1 bottle in your photo shoot. Add 2 other bottles. It's now super simple to do with AI, in case you don't have a photo shoot already with multiple bottles. That's going to subconsciously influence people to spend more money, because they're going to think that is the normal to buy multiple bottles. And we have observed that also increased average order value by a significant amount, 10-20% even, by just making that tweak alone. So again, never send another campaign that features just one bottle of your product, one unit of your product. Always feature 3 or 5. Lesson 14 is how to maximize their conversion rate by maximizing their consumption, getting people to read them. And this is by using urges, reason whys to send an email that essentially force people to keep reading the email. And here are just 3 examples out of multiple that we use that you can use as fast as today. And as you will see, this start with a bang. Use this and automatically your emails will have a sense of importance and more power embedded within them. So anything you say after that, it's going to increase the consumption of these emails, increase the sales of these emails. Moving to lesson 15, and this is to simply exclude your unengaged subscribers. So add this exclusion segment on your next campaign and you will see your deliverability naturally go up over time and consistently. Moving to lesson 16, and this is an advanced psychological hack, but it is to sell the identity and not the product itself. So we have been working with the Video Pro Pack, the leading brand in work bags. They are kind of like the Apple of work bags. They are 20, 30%, 50% more expensive than the others, but people are still like loyal to them in ways I cannot explain. People are just more willing to spend more money with them. And to do this on the email side, we are not just selling the bag, we are selling the identity of the professional electrician, so that whenever they arrive to the job site with these bags, everyone recognizes they are a true professional. If we get them to buy first the identity, which is, by the way, what they're already buying, the sale becomes super easy. It's just mandatory at this point. We have used this with saunas, we have used this with supplements, we have used this with skincare, we have used this with do-it-yourself tools, and the list goes on. Moving to lesson 17, something I also wish I learned sooner. And this is to never run a sale without justifying it first, without having a reason why. If you decide to send a flash sale type of email, it doesn't have much weight on customers' minds to justify buying. They might think, okay, they're just going to run another sale later on. There's no urgency. Let's say you decide to launch this on a Friday. You can just name it a weekend sale, and it's easy for the brain to process that it's going to end on a Sunday. Even better, rather than a flash sale, say you have a sale because you overstock on a certain product. Now you have a reason why for this sale to happen, and it's more believable. Try this and you will for sure increase your conversion rates. Next, lesson 18, and this is honestly a cheat code to figuring out how to get people to buy. If someone is not buying from you, it's most likely not a price issue, it's a conviction issue. And conviction is made up of trust and desire. Trust plus desire equals conviction. So if you want to send better emails, make sure your emails are full in desire building and trust building. Moving to lesson 19, and this is to start using Super Bowl flows. So brands spend $7 to $8 million to run a 30-second Super Bowl ad. And so you can bet your gluteus maximus that they have tested this ad before running it and spending millions on running them. And so with email flows, the way we approach them is that only the best performing emails earn their place inside flows. Flows are by default, because of customers' behavior, the most profitable emails ever. And so a way to do this is by A/B testing. We talked about this already. Or after each month, you see which of your campaigns resonated the most, essentially rank them by sales, and then you adapt them to whichever flows works best. We do this with clients. We call this winner's transplant, and this helps us have the best and highest converting email flows. Next, we have lesson 20, and this is another kind of advanced marketing principle, but this is to sell and create a vision of the future they're going to have with your products. So here's an example for a skincare brand that we manage. This has been one of our best performers. Of course, you don't want to always send emails like this, but every so often send an email painting the future, creating a vision of how the life is going to look like with your products. Do this in your campaigns, but also in your flows following the previous lesson. Next, lesson 21st. This might be one of the most important lessons of this entire video, because this one is going to make all of the other lessons be way easier to apply. This is to start sending text-based conviction emails. These are emails, sometimes really long, that look like personal message coming from a real person, a real human. And I think the reason why this works so well is because the same reason why organic content works so well on Instagram rather than corporate type of imagery and photo shoots is because people at the end of the day relate more with people and not brands and not ads. So when they receive a personal looking message like this one, they're more likely to get persuaded because they don't realize they're being sold to. Now, text-based conviction emails make about 50% of our sends every month for clients. Moving to lesson 22nd, and this is ABT, always be teasing. If you are launching a product, a sale, whatever it is, always be teasing. Never just launch a sale as it is. Never launch a product as it is. Movies have mastered this, and they have their trailers. They get you excited about the thing that is coming. And so, of course, the same works in marketing, and more specifically, email marketing. And combined with the previous lesson, text-based conviction emails, these work really well. Lesson 23rd, and this is a particular type of text-based conviction emails that works really well, and it is story selling emails. So the beauty of stories is that they can appeal to the emotional part of the brain, the part of the brain that is responsible for making buying decisions. We also use them in our content calendar with clients. We try not to abuse them or else they can get boring really fast, but they work particularly well once a week and also in flows. We have tested this in male audience, female audiences, younger audiences. This just works because at the end of the day, it is just human behavior. Next, we have lesson 24th, and this is something you can do if you feel like your subscribers have become numb to your emails. And this is not to sell mouse traps, but amplify the fear for mouses. So essentially magnifying the problem or the fear of inaction. I'm attaching an example or two here. You can do this in your design campaigns. This has to be done with taste. I will add that caveat. And most easily, this can be done in text-based emails as well. Lesson 25th, and this is super short, but with email marketing, there are plenty of metrics we can choose to focus on. Opens and clicks, definitely not the right one. These are only just a good proxy for deliverability. But one of my favorite metrics to track is revenue per recipient. And that is simply multiplying email AOV, average order value, and email conversion rate, and you get revenue per recipient. If you increase it, you know that your emails are either getting people to spend more, increasing AOV, or getting more people to buy more units at the same AOV. Either way, your email marketing is working better. Lesson 26, and this is also a super easy one to apply. This is whenever you're deciding to use testimonials, reviews in your designed emails, make sure these are talking about objections people normally have, or pain points people face, or any relatable common experience your customers have. In the past, we used to feature reviews we thought were good versus what customers actually found useful. This is also making a big difference in your trust building. Whenever featuring a review, include a highlight on the top, like 2-3 words that hook people into actually reading the entire review, else they simply won't. Lesson 27, and this is also something that took me a lot of A/B testing, a lot of trial and error to figure out. This is to send and write longer, more persuasive emails. People normally need more reasons to buy rather than fewer, and so they also need more persuasion rather than fewer. Or at least if you operate under that assumption, you're going to make your job way easier. Assume people are more skeptical than they actually are. Assume they need more persuasion than they actually need. And so for clients, we often send really long emails like this one right here, which if you asked me in the past whether this was going to work or not, I would have laughed at you. But now I know better, thankfully. And so this is something that we do specifically with clients who are selling very competitive industries like supplements and so on. Lesson 28, and this is a short one and really easy to implement. And this is if you are sending, say, 3 emails on a given week. If you make these 3 emails about a single product or a single product category, it's going to work way better than if you spread out those emails across the entire month. So the opposite is what I will call the puppy strategy. You've seen how puppies are excited with this toy and then this toy and this toy and right here. That is the opposite that we want. And so the lesson is simple. Double down on the product or category you're selling on one specific week. Next lesson is to avoid sending what I call pillow emails. And that is email with no punching power or no persuasive power at all. Text-based emails, conviction building trust, building desire. That is actually going to help you send emails that move the sales forward. The opposite, the pillow emails, are doing nothing at all, and some might be just noise in your subscribers' inbox. Moving to lesson 30, and this is something we did with a client to double the review collection rate. And it's very simple. By default, most review apps send just one email asking someone to leave a review. Make sure you're sending 3 emails. 3 emails is like the sweet spot, but honestly, you don't really have to. The reason why people don't leave reviews is because honestly, they have better things to do, and so 1 email is most likely not going to cut it. But if you remind them just 3 times, the likelihood of them actually taking the time is way higher. Finally, lesson 31st. This is a 5-second tweak that's going to increase your email sales by 20%. Is to disable double opt-in. So in e-commerce, it really doesn't make much sense to ask people to confirm their email if you're collecting emails the right way, through a pop-up where they know they are subscribing to get a discount in exchange for the email and so on. If you're buying lists or like confusing or like manipulating people into giving you their email, then I wouldn't recommend you do this. But if you have your regular pop-ups collecting emails, then yes, definitely disable double opt-in. You don't need it. Just have a proper welcome email in place that meets their expectations, let them know they are subscribed, and all of that beauty. Now, the point of this video was to give you some quick tricks and tactics and strategies you can start applying today to help you make more sales. But if you want to see all of these lessons applied to a real brand, so you can like really process how to do this with actual examples, watch this video next, where I have my team create real high-converting emails, designed emails, and also text-based emails for a supplement brand, AG1, which you might be familiar with. So click here to watch the video and see you over there.